Welcome to NarrativeNook where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening. Timothy had been waiting for a while, but Arabella hadn't come back. He learned that she had descended the hill by another path and had left a while ago. Though he felt a bit disappointed, he was relieved to know that she was a member of the Light Fleet team. He pushed open the small gate on one side of the wrought iron barrier and saw a crowd gather around Harlan and press him to keep his word. In the back of the group was someone from Light Fleet, whose name seemed to be Mignon. Timothy approached and said, "Hey there, you're Mignon, right?" Before he could even ask about the name of the girl who drove, Mignon snapped, "What do you want? Can't you see we're in the middle of something?" Timothy was taken aback. Harlan was being stubborn and refusing to crawl. The onlookers were getting fed up and started to rough him up. Mignon joined in and gave him a few kicks. Seeing that everyone was busy, Timothy could only have his guys find out the girl's name. "And keep an eye on Light Fleet's upcoming match schedules for me." He had a hunch she would show up again. He was determined to be there to support her. Meanwhile, when Serena woke up, she found herself in a guest room in the building next door, with various medicines laid out on the nightstand. At first, she thought her parents had sent someone to bring her back and had prepared the medicine, but then she checked her phone and realized it was Eric who had taken care of her and brought her back. The only messages on her phone were from Eric, telling her to take care of herself, and one of the messages read, "Where there's life, there's hope." When Serena saw that her parents were dead set on casting her out of the Collins family, and leaving her to fend for herself, by telling Betty not to bring her food, her heart sank to the depths, and tears rolled down her cheeks, as if she couldn't believe her current plight. Even though the race had ended long ago, the image of the girl's beautiful face still lingered in Timothy's mind. He called up his friend, Romeo. "Romeo, do you know? She won. She won the race tonight. It was so freaking amazing." Romeo, who had intended to call Arabella, was preempted by his buddy's call. If he'd known it was going to be about that girl again, he probably wouldn't have picked up. "Romeo, did you know? She's a racer. She's got the same passion as me. It's like the universe crafted the perfect partner just for me." Romeo deadpanned, dreaming already when the sun's barely set? "Romeo, you haven't seen her behind the wheel, she's so cool." Romeo thought about his own darling racing to the hospital, and recalled how fast and fierce she drove that stretch of road. "Nobody beats my fiancée," Romeo asserted with confidence. "Your fiancée can race? Is she a pro driver?" Timothy sounded slightly skeptical. "Not a pro, better than one. You seem a bit over your head. Want me to send someone over to knock some sense into you?" Question his fiancée? His fiancée was the best in the world. No question about it. "You don't understand, she's slim, tall, gorgeous and so classy. And she looks younger than me. I don't even know if she's of age. Anyway, if you saw her, you'd admit she's the most beautiful and the most captivating girl in the world." "I'm not lying." Romeo remained unimpressed. He had never met anyone with more grace and beauty than his girl. "If you're done, I'm hanging up." Without waiting for Timothy to ramble on, Romeo hung up and dialed Arabella's number. Arabella's car had barely rolled to a stop in front of a charming villa when her phone buzzed with a call from Romeo. "What are you up to?" he asked. "Just visiting a friend. She hurt her ankle." "Which friend? Do I know her?" "A good friend. You haven't met her." Arabella looked up and saw Ophelia hobbling towards her with the aid of a crutch. Probably having spotted her arrival on the security camera, she couldn't wait to greet her. "I'll introduce you two next time." Romeo's heart warmed at his fiancée's words. "All right, just don't stay out too late. Hit me up when you get back to the hotel." "Sure thing, bye." Hanging up, Arabella saw Ophelia approaching her, who looked as if she wished to fly. As soon as they were just a few paces apart, Ophelia discarded her crutch to embrace her. "It's been too long," Ophelia beamed with a radiant smile. Usually, her eyes held a frosty reserve, making her seem untouchable, but when she smiled, the frost in her eyes melted right away, and her breathtaking beauty was revealed. "Abandoning the crutch?" Arabella chuckled. "Is it that serious?" And here you said it was nothing. I'll be fine in a few days, Ophelia said cheerfully, with her eyes fixed on Arabella. You must be starving. I had some delicious dishes prepared. Come on, you're going to love them. Arabella picked up the crutch from the ground. With an air of serene grace, she smiled and assisted Ophelia towards the house. Now that you mention it, I could eat. Why don't you spend the night with me? It's been ages since anyone kept me company. The villa was quiet, inhabited only by Ophelia and the household staff. Their mutual friends, like Kelly and the others, were often too busy to visit. I didn't bring a change of clothes. That's hardly a problem. I've got plenty of brand new clothes here. Take your pick. We're about the same size. Ophelia didn't want Arabella to leave so soon. Seeing the earnestness in her offer, Arabella agreed. The dining table was laden with an array of mouth-watering dishes. After the staff had greeted Arabella and bowed out, the two friends were left alone at the large table. This is your celebratory feast, Ophelia said as she poured some tea and video-called their other friends. Guess who's here? You and Arabella together? Kelly exclaimed, both surprised and incredulous. What are you eating? It looks delicious. I'm still wrapped up over here, and you guys are having a midnight snack? Last time I visited, you didn't prepare anything near as nice, another friend with long hair teased. Yeah, I didn't get this treatment either, added another, her short hair bobbing as she feigned offense. Today, Bella did me a solid, so this is her victory banquet. Even though you're not here, there's nothing to stop us from raising our glasses and toasting to the good times. Cheers, everyone. Kelly, who was in her bedroom, picked up a glass of water from her bedside table. To Bella, the best of us, she lifted her glass and declared. The rest of the girls joined in with whatever they had on hand, juice, soda, bottled water, and they all shared a lively toast, their laughter spilling through the screens. Come on, you've got to give Bella more than just a bite to eat after the massive favor she did for you, teased the long-haired girlfriend with a playful smirk. Seriously, Bella, don't be shy. Just take what she gives you and enjoy it, another friend chimed in. A gift less than 10 million just doesn't cut it for Bella's special trip, right? Kelly added with a mischievous laugh. Bella isn't like you money grubbers, Ophelia said with a smile as she turned to Arabella. She helped me out big time for free. That's what a true friend is. You all could learn a thing or two. The group teased her about being stingy and tight-fisted. A friend is meant to be fleeced, is that it? The esteemed Ms. Almond being so penny-pinching with her true heart and soul friend? Bella, once she comes home, will take her out and treat her to a feast on your behalf. The girls continued to laugh and joke until Ophelia said, All right, enough chatting. The food's getting cold, and I've got some juicy secrets to share with Bella. She ended the video call and eagerly loaded Arabella's plate with food. Arabella looked at the mountain of food in her bowl, with her eyes sparkling. That's enough. There's more folks outside grilling up. Once we're done here, let's head to the backyard for a bit more to eat. We can huddle up by the fire pit and warm up, Ophelia said excitedly. I heard tonight's race was absolutely electrifying, the top level in the field of the car racing. That's an exaggeration, Arabella said, with her lips curving into a smile and her eyes alight with amusement. I heard Harlan was so frustrated by your driving that he lost all composure and made a spectacle of himself. With you behind the wheel, the trophy was as good as ours. Ophelia had seen Arabella's driving skills firsthand. Once, when an assassin had targeted Arabella, Ophelia had been with her. To protect Ophelia from getting involved, Arabella had displayed her driving skills, which was nothing short of breathtaking. They'd also raced cars privately a few times. Even though Arabella always went easy on her, Ophelia could tell that Arabella was leagues above her. For others, racing was thrilling and fun, but for Arabella, she drove like a pro only to escape danger and stay alive. That's why she kept such a low profile, not wanting people to know about her many talents. Daydreaming. Arabella's long lashes fluttered, wearing a soft smile which denoted the intimacy of friendship. No. Just thinking about what Candace said. She said Harlan was so outclassed that he forced their team captain to step in, only to be beaten by you. For him, it's got to be the ultimate humiliation. Arabella seemed surprised. That captain is that good? An internationally renowned racer, who kept undefeated in so many races. People only know him as Sean because all the drivers wear helmets, and no one has seen his real face. He usually doesn't bother with these underground races. Ophelia's curiosity got the better of her. Did you see his face tonight? What does he look like? Without hesitation, Arabella replied dismissively, pretty punchable. He must be really annoying then. He even asked about you. Ophelia was taken aback. You know him? Arabella's gaze settled on her. Completely confused, Ophelia replied, not at all. Could it be he's noticed me because I wanted to win his track and open it to the public? Oh no, what if he holds a grudge against me? Do you know why so many people fear the Drift Kings? Even with Harlan messing up all the time, no one dares cross him because he's got Sean backing him up. Before Arabella had set foot in Belloria, she hadn't even heard of someone named Sean. But Ophelia seemed serious when she said, I've heard this Sean guy is bad news. No one dares to cross him, and nobody really knows what his deal is. Arabella didn't know either, and she wasn't exactly fond of the kind of guy who played women and acted like he owned the place. You know what? You totally knocked the socks off my crew tonight, Ophelia continued. When you first told them that the only things you knew about driving were going forward, reversing, and braking, they were scared out of their minds. Arabella just smiled softly. And then you said you'd never raced before, but the moment you hit the track, you left everyone's jaw on the floor. Now they're all bugging me, asking if you'll join the team. They don't care if you're a coach or not, they've got a ton of questions to ask you. Arabella chuckled. So, are you planning to hire me, Ms. Almond? I wish I could afford that. Ophelia quickly said, knowing Arabella had many talents. I told them that even a minute of your time costs a fortune. You should have seen their faces. Hilarious. They both laughed and clinked glasses, chatting away while they enjoyed their meal. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Stewart approached Sean, nervous as a cat and barely daring to breathe. Sean sat in a plush armchair in his private club, sipping a drink and gazing out at the shimmering swimming pool. No one could tell what he was thinking. Sean. Stewart began cautiously, I'm sorry, but I couldn't catch up. Her driving was just too fast. Sean glanced up, his haughty and icy demeanor sending chills down Stewart's spine. Was it her driving that was too fast, or did you not even catch a glimpse of her car? You wouldn't be lying to me, would you? Sean tossed a pillow at him in irritation. Stewart stood still, letting the pillow hit him. By the time I got out there, I didn't even see a shadow of her car. I had some guys check the traffic cams and it turned out that a bunch of them were damaged. I'm sorry, Sean. I failed. Sean scoffed, swirling his glass of red wine. Sean, I reviewed the race footage. If that pebble wasn't on the track, or if the race had been just 200 meters longer, you would have had it in the bag. Sean's cold gaze swept over him, freezing him in place. Clearly, such consolation was not only useless to Sean but also somewhat insulting. Are you asking for a whooping? Sean asked icily. Stewart bowed his head. No, sir. I wouldn't dare. Seeing Sean pour himself another glass of wine, Stewart quickly added, Sean, didn't that girl tonight seem a bit familiar to you? Sean finished his drink and gave his verdict. She definitely looked punchable. Stewart cautiously changed the subject. I meant her features, her face. Sean did think there was a slight resemblance between her eyes and his mother's, but his supposed sister had reportedly grown up in a humble home. It seemed unlikely that she'd have such looks and presence, probably more plain and unrefined. Besides, she was the same age as Serena, just 18. At that age, she probably hadn't even gotten her driver's license, let alone touched a steering wheel. It was unlikely for a girl from a modest background to learn to drive so quickly, let alone to reach such a skilled level. So, he dismissed the thought as quickly as it had appeared. His own sister, driving better than him? That was just ridiculous. Should we ask Mrs. Collins to send over a picture, just to be sure? Stewart suggested, just in case. There had been something about the girl that reminded him of Sean, Perhaps it was a certain swagger, or a touch of arrogance. Seeing her face tonight only reinforced his hunch. She's got to be Sean's sister. A picture? When Sean's sister came home, Louisa had called Sean to let him know. She mentioned that his sister was back, but as for what she looked like or what her character was like, well, he'd have to see for himself. But Sean, tied up with one thing or another, and true to his character, hadn't made the trip back home. Now he pulled out his phone and shot off messages to Hans, Chase, Clark and David, asking them the same question. What does this look like? Replies soon popped up on his screen. Hans, don't even know where to start. His sister was stunning. A natural beauty with a grace that made her stand out in the simplest of ways. From her eyes, nose to her lips, she was flawlessness incarnate, and her demeanor and style were something you could talk about for days without exaggeration. Chase, it's complicated. It was tough to sum up her beauty in a few words. She had the ethereal glow of moonlight, the delicate allure of a blossoming flower, and the pristine clarity of a mountain spring. Just one glimpse of her in a crowd was enough to take your breath away. Clark, it's hard to put into words, you'd know if you see her. Her beauty was the kind that would astonish anyone, the sort that needed to be witnessed firsthand to be truly felt. No words could capture even a fraction of her charm. David, why the sudden interest in our sister? Been away for so long and now you've grown a conscience. David had deliberately left Sean out of the sibling group chat. He'd hoped it would pique Sean's curiosity, making him want to come back and see his sister for himself. Of course, David had his own ulterior motives, thinking it was better to have one less competitor for his sister's affection. Seeing the lukewarm reviews, Sean figured she must be quite unattractive, not someone to show off. Reading David's sour grapes of a message, Sean replied, ran into someone today who sort of looked like her, pretty annoying. Lucky for me, she's not my actual sis. David shot back quickly, that's definitely not our little darling then. She's adored by all who meet her, a real heartbreaker. Whoever you saw must be someone else. If she wasn't his real sister, that made things easier. Keep looking, we need to find out where she is, Sean ordered. Yes. Stewart perked up, thinking that if the young girl wasn't Sean's sister, then he could proceed without worry. But who's this person that's got you so riled up? A girl? I'm quite intrigued to know who could get under Sean's skin. Ignoring David's nosiness, Sean went back to sipping his red wine. Meanwhile, Ophelia was having a blast with Arabella, eating and drinking merrily when her phone rang. It was those friends again. They were asking about you again, intending to take you out for a meal to express their gratitude properly. I'll make arrangement to gather them all together to really show you their appreciation. Securing the Kowloon Bay track tonight was huge, and you played a major part in it. Aren't you already hosting? Arabella smiled lightly, gesturing towards the lavish spread before them. I'm going to burst if I eat any more. Come on, we can't miss out on the barbecue. Ophelia sent off a quick message before pressing on. You still haven't spilled the beans about you and that Romeo. Have you guys held hands yet? Any kissy-kissy? What's it to you? You're blushing. Ophelia teased with an excited chuckle. So that's a yes? Things are moving along nicely, huh? He must be quite the catch. Otherwise, how could he ever hope to steal the heart of our very own Arabella? He's all right, Arabella admitted with a hint of warmth in her voice. She wasn't aware that a gentle smile graced her lips whenever she spoke of Romeo. Ophelia beamed like a doting elder, being too thrilled to play it cool. When do I get to meet this charmer who's stolen our Bella's heart? Soon. In a day or two. Ophelia couldn't contain her excitement. Well, I just can't wait to see who's managed to climb to the top of our Bella's favorites list. That's when Arabella remembered she had forgotten to tell Romeo about staying at Ophelia's place. Just as she pulled out her phone, Ophelia leaned in with curiosity. Let me see what cute nickname you've given him. What nickname? She'd always just saved him as Romeo. Why not something like hubby, sweetheart, or my better half? Having his name there is enough. To Arabella, Romeo used to be just a long string of unfamiliar digits. She dialed his number, but the call went unanswered and eventually disconnected. If he's in the country, he's probably still asleep. It's almost 1 in the morning here, so it should be close to 8 there. He's in Dawnstar. Then he's definitely asleep, Ophelia explained. Dawnstar is an hour ahead of us. It's 2 in the morning there. Who else would be up snacking at this hour like us? He must have been knocked out after a long day. Romeo's a busy guy, he's got a ton of stuff to handle during the day. He probably crashes the minute his head hits the pillow. Just then, Arabella's phone buzzed with a video call request. Ophelia's eyes bulged. No way, he's up at 2 in the morning? This is true love. Arabella answered the call, only to see the cozy hotel lights and the freshly showered Romeo in his robe, with his hair still damp. The bathroom door behind him was ajar, steam spilling into the room. Romeo quickly explained, "I was just taking a shower and missed your call." He was about to ask if she had made it back to her hotel when he noticed someone else was there. "Hey there, I'm Ophelia, Bella's good friend. Nice to meet you, and might I say, you're a real looker. You two make such a stunning pair." "Thank you." Romeo was nothing but courteous to Arabella's friend. "Hello, I'm Romeo, Bella's fiancé." I know, nice to meet you. Bella and I haven't caught up in ages, and I wouldn't want her traveling alone so late. I'd offer to escort her, but I've hurt my foot, so I was hoping you would give his blessing for her to stay over. I promise to take good care of her." So that was why she called? Romeo's gaze shifted tenderly toward Arabella, as if he was reading her thoughts. "Then I'm grateful to Ms. Almond for looking after her." "No trouble at all, I'm happy to have her. You two chat away, I'm off to grab a bite." Ophelia left them to their privacy. "Get some sleep soon." Arabella was about to end the call when Romeo spoke up. "It's getting colder over there. Make sure you bundle up at night, don't catch a cold." "I will. If the blankets aren't enough, ask Ms. Almond for more. Keep the heating on, and don't stay up too late. Get some rest." "Got it. And if you can't sleep or anything else comes up, just call me. I'm here for ya." "All right." Romeo gazed at her with that adoring look of his. "Good night, I'm gonna miss you." Off to the side, Ophelia's grin was threatening to split her face in two. Arabella caught her fighting back laughter and said coolly, "Good night." Romeo knew she was about to hang up and felt a twinge of disappointment. Tonight, she hadn't noticed his wet hair. "Don't forget to blow-dry your hair." Suddenly, Arabella's caring remark cleared the clouds from Romeo's eyes, his gaze warming. "Will do." She cared about him. She still had him on her mind. She noticed he hadn't dried his hair. After hanging up the video call, Ophelia finally let out a giggle. "You two are just too sweet. Who knew that when two big shots fall in love, it's like this? You turn into a docile little lamb, and he's like a warm-hearted Prince Charming." Gone was their usual icy facade. Both of their auras softened. It was just too cute. Who knew how long they talked? But the next morning Arabella's phone was buzzing non-stop on the nightstand. It was Horace. "Boss, you up? There's a guy named Sam, linked to that old fire. He's gonna show up at the underground auction tonight at 8. Should I get the guys to bag him?" Arabella hadn't expected new leads on the fire. "Don't spook him, just the two of us will go." Horace was about to suggest that 2 might be too few, but then remembered the boss could take on 100 single-handedly. Not just one Sam, but 10, 20, none were a match for her. "I'll snag 2 invites. I'll pick you up from the hotel at 7 tonight, and we'll hit the auction together." "Sounds good." After the call, Arabella was surprised that there was finally a break in the fire investigation. Previous attempts by Jack and the others always hit a dead end or went off track. It was as if a pair of eyes in the shadows was monitoring their every move, ready to create chaos when things got too close to the truth. Every time the truth was about to surface, something would happen. Tonight, she was determined to catch that Sam and find out what really went down back then. Meanwhile, Stewart knocked on Sean's door. Perhaps worried about a rebuke, he got straight to the point. "Sean, we've located Sam. Come in and talk." Sean's voice was groggy with sleep. Stewart entered, the room dark, the curtains drawn against the morning light. With utmost respect, he reported, "There's an underground auction at 8 tonight. Word is Sam will show. There's something he wants to buy. This could be our chance." I'll have men in position, ready to strike and nab him. No screw-ups. Understood. Stewart knew how crucial catching this man was to Sean. Previous leads had been disrupted by that girl, and now that they had a fresh trail, he hoped it would go smoothly. Arabella's phone rang again. This time it was Jack. Boss, while I was digging into the truth behind the old fire, I stumbled onto something else. I'll send it over, it's about Carol. Arabella replied calmly, all right, send it over. Jack promptly sent over several vintage videos. They were grainy and aged, but you could still make out the genders of the people on screen. Then Jack shot through some documents, including screenshots of bank transfers and more. Boss, this is as clear as day. We've got a case of a mistress ordering a hit. Carol's mom was taken out by this homewrecker. We gonna do something about it. Arabella sifted through all the documents before grasping the full picture. It had been Crystal Temple's birthday, and both families had planned a fun-filled day at the amusement park. But Carol's family of 4 got there first. Later, tragedy struck when Crystal's family got into a car accident, and Carol's mom rushed to help. Lurking in the distance was a truck, eyeing the scene, but the busy street and the crowd deterred any direct action. If things escalated, there would surely be an investigation. The woman who had accidentally hit Crystal's family was fraught with guilt and fear, insisting on taking them to the hospital. Then, the moment presented itself. The truck suddenly switched lanes, accelerated, and plowed straight toward them. The woman driver didn't stand a chance. She was killed instantly. Only after going through the files did Arabella learn that the truck driver, diagnosed with a terminal illness, had been offered $1 million to ram into someone. Desperate due to poverty and medical debts plaguing his family, he chose to trade his life for money to provide them with a better future. The one who funded the hit was Carol's current stepmother, Maureen. She thought she had covered her tracks perfectly, not realizing that even the most meticulous plans have flaws. Initially, Maureen paid the truck driver $100,000 as a down payment, promising the remaining $900,000 upon completion. But since the driver died at the scene, leaving no witnesses, his family waited over a decade without seeing the rest of the money. That was the money the driver had traded his life for, but Maureen refused to pay up. She knew that for something like this, they couldn't just go to the police. They had to swallow the bitter pill in silence. Fearing Maureen might renege on the deal, the truck driver had secretly saved all the records of his communications with Maureen, leaving them to his family. Now, with a family member critically ill and in dire need of cash, the matter slowly surfaced. The documents revealed that to rid herself of this family, Maureen was already seeking a hitman. Arabella couldn't believe that to become the lady of the Brooks family, that woman could harbor such malicious intentions. Although Carol's birth mother didn't die on the spot, she was left permanently disabled. With Carol sent to an orphanage and her brother Dennis sold to a rural village, their mother died of illness, unable to find her children. And all the hardships Carol later endured could be traced back to this woman. If it weren't for her hiring a hitman, none of this would have happened. At that moment, the Brooks family was in the midst of a heated argument. You clearly know that girl from QY, why won't you help out your sister? It's just a matter of speaking up. Is it really that hard? Maureen was fuming. The stepsister Catherine sat on the couch, her eyes brimming with tears, looking every bit the picture of pitiable distress. Carol remained unmoved, her voice chilly as she spoke. It's her own fault for plagiarizing QY's designs. She made her bed, now she has to lie in it. It was just a coincidence. Maureen insisted, trying to downplay the situation. There's no need to call it plagiarism. That sounds so ugly. If you don't like it, then don't copy in the first place. Catherine, standing off to the side, seemed to shrink under the weight of the accusation, as if the similarity to QY's designs was a mere accident, not a deliberate act. 17 designs with a similarity of up to 90%, and you call that a coincidence? If it was merely a coincidence, would they sue you? Carol didn't want to waste her time arguing. She had plans to deliver the hand-knitted scarves she was going to make to her aunt before the holidays. But as she tried to make her way upstairs, her stepmother Maureen blocked her path. Honey, aren't you going to say anything? Even if Catherine lost her inspiration for a moment and went a little too far in referencing QY's designs, resulting in them calling it plagiarism, Their demand for a $3 million settlement is outrageous, and they won't budge on the amount. They also want us to publicly apologize on social media. Isn't that just stomping on the Brooks family's pride? With that, Maureen turned her angry gaze to Carol, her voice tinged with frustration. If only she would say the word, her influential friends would let this slide. No money spent, no public embarrassment, but she just won't help. What kind of daughter wants to see her parents humiliated? Carol looked back at her coldly. Your true colors are showing, and it's not a pretty sight. You may have no shame, but I do. Listen to her, honey. Listen to how she talks to me. I'm the elder, and she has no respect. I bet she's in cahoots with them, trying to swindle your money and then funnel it into her own pocket. Why else would she refuse to help us with this simple favor? As Maureen glared at Carol, her loathing was palpable. She desired to lash out, shred and toss the insolent girl to the trash. Rudolph was caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to appease his wife. You went too far with Catherine at the mall last time, talking about how Carol's mom has been dead for ages and criticizing her for wasting money on flowers for the dead, and then you destroyed her bouquet. Of course, she's upset. I saw the surveillance video. You and Catherine were out of line. But she insulted me too. She said she only has two moms, her birth mom and her foster one. She asked what did I think I was, and she said I had no right to lecture her in this house. Maureen's voice trailed off, her grievance apparent. Given your position, it's indeed inappropriate. What are you saying? I married you, you're her dad, so naturally I am her mom. What could be inappropriate about that? Do you want to join my mom in her grave? Is that it? Carol's retort left Maureen fuming. Listen to what she said, honey. If her husband wasn't there, she would have torn this ungrateful brat's mouth right off. Dad, I've worked hard to build my business and never made $3 million. Now, not only do I have to compensate them, effectively nullifying years of hard work, but I'm expected to apologize publicly. It's not just my reputation on the line. People know I'm your daughter. There are many eyes on us. Who will dare to partner with our family after this? Dad, I'm thinking of you, of our family. Look at your daughters, one thinking of you and the other pushing you into the fire. The one pushing Dad into the fire is you. If you hadn't plagiarized, there'd be no need for compensation or apologies, no need for this melodramatic display. I'm done here. You all can carry on with your performance. With that, Carol turned and headed upstairs, unwilling to engage with them any further. Honey, look at her. She has no regard for this family. She's grown wild and heartless out there in the world. Maureen was livid, vowing to herself that the next time her husband wasn't home, she would deal with that wretched girl behind closed doors. After Carol climbed the stairs, she received a call from Arabella, who dropped a bombshell about a hidden truth behind a car accident from years ago. Carol's long lashes fluttered slightly, betraying her surprise and shock. Once the call ended, Carol checked the evidence Arabella had sent her. Each message, each document, stoked the flames of her indignation. After a while, she called her brother Dennis, asking him to come home. She returned to her laptop, her fingers dancing across the keyboard before finally emerging into the living room. At that moment, Maureen was still adding fuel to the fire, bad-mouthing her, while Catherine was beside her, crying a river, leaving Rudolph frustrated and distraught. I've made up my mind. Carol walked up to them and announced, her expression unflinching, didn't Dad say he wanted to announce our identities to all our friends and relatives soon, to let everyone know that we are back? I think we shouldn't wait for another day. Why not just do it tonight? Are you trying to negotiate terms with your dad? Maureen snapped back, realizing what was happening. You're really something, aren't you? Always playing your own game. It doesn't matter when we announce your return. But Catherine needs to make amends and apologize before midnight tonight. Her situation is far more urgent than yours. Instead of resolving that, you're here stirring up trouble with irrelevant things. I didn't ask for your opinion. Carol's retort infuriated Maureen. She couldn't believe Carol would dare to dismiss her so blatantly. Carol, are you really willing to help Catherine? Rudolph looked surprised. Just moments ago, Carol had been adamant about staying out of her sister's issues. What had changed? If she's ready to swallow her pride, apologize, and offer some compensation, I'm okay with it. Anyway, New Year is coming up, and all our relatives will naturally learn about me and my brother's return. There's no rush. As Carol turned to head upstairs, Maureen quickly said, "Wait." Though she didn't want their friends and relatives to know about their existence, they didn't have a better solution for Catherine's predicament at the moment. If that wretched girl was willing to help, not only would they save themselves from shelling out $3 million, but they'd also save face. Just this once, they'd let Carol have her way. They could always tarnish her reputation later, skewing their friends' and relatives' perception of her. Are you really willing to help? Before Maureen could finish, Carol was already ascending the stairs. Maureen called out, "Wait." She had no choice but to look at her husband. "Honey, book a private dining room. We'll have dinner with all our friends and relatives tonight. I've been so busy lately, I neglected to announce Carol and Dennis's return right away. It's understandable that Carol is upset. Let's do it tonight. She's right, there's no time like the present." And Dennis. Rudolph wasn't sure where his son had gone and whether he'd be able to return that evening. If they were to announce their return, Dennis was one of the main characters. He'll be back soon. Hearing Carol's assurance, Maureen grew more resentful, convinced the siblings had conspired together. Their father hadn't even agreed to the announcement yet, and her brother was already on his way to receive blessings from friends and relatives. "Then tonight, we'll all raise our glasses to celebrate you and your brother's safe return," Rudolph started calling to invite friends and relatives. "Make sure Meredith Brooks comes home too," Carol said coldly to Maureen. "No one should be missing." Maureen scoffed. She hadn't expected this audacious girl to take herself so seriously. Meredith was her and Rudolph's beloved son, the heir to their estate, and now he was supposed to come back and celebrate for these two? In her dreams. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.